today for those protests. So I'm giving you guys another car rant, hopefully a PG-13 version of a car rant from the HAFEZ channel rather than the Banksy channel. I would like to scream and shout on this one, but I don't feel I need to, because I feel that this is a grown-up conversation. This particular issue, or this particular conversation, is regarding Robert, is it Robert? Rupert? Damn, I forgot his name. Lowell, I think it's Robert Lowell, from the Reform Party, who's been ousted, who has been one of the more based, if you like, voices in the Reform. He's you know, like a hidden Tommy supporter, I would imagine, and also, or at least he certainly doesn't have a problem with Tommy Robinson. Probably agrees with him on quite a bit of stuff. But either way, he has now been, I think, without any uncertain term, ousted as a Reform member of Parliament. I believe he's going to probably carry on as an independent. Maybe they'll have another election in his constituency. I don't know, but nevertheless, yeah, that's the situation. There was a letter sent out by the Reform Party stipulating that Rupert, I think it's Rupert Lowell, anyway, he had been he'd committed certain bullying offences against, of course, of always female workers, you know, people that he I guess, you know, secretaries or whatever, people that he has in his office, in his constituents, as well as in his Westminster office or his Parliament office. So anyway, as always, women come out in order to take a good man down, as we've seen it time and time again. What happened to Julian Assange, by the way? Does anyone know? How did Julian Assange go down? How was he taken down? They say behind every good man there's a woman ready to allege he's done some wrongdoing in order to make sure they can take him down for it. It's amazing, with all the feminism in the world, we still yield so quickly to any allegations of anything that a man has done towards a woman. It's quickly, you know, immediately the man is cut in half. It seems it doesn't happen quite as often with the women, though. I'm sure Jess Phillips has pissed off and he shouted at a few of her staffers. And I'm sure you know, some of the women in the Labour Party haven't been exactly polite to their staffers, but they don't get any mentions. But anyway, sun out, yes, Biz. Thank you, Biz, from Australia. Big up, Biz. Yeah, it's a nice sunny early evening here. Although it's still cold, still bloody cold, but it's nice. But anyway, the way I see it, you know, is Reform really done? Did they really get off to begin with? I mean, you know, this is the first year of their, really kind of first year and a bit of their membership in the Parliament. You know, they had 5 measly elected representatives, and they made a lot of noise. There was a lot of hoopla, but 4 years from now, I'm telling you, I bet you Reform would either be like pretty much gone, or hardly anyone would even care, because I really don't think Reform are the answers to the future of the United Kingdom. I feel that it's a cult of personality. There's a lot of you know, Nigel Farage is an egomaniac. So is most of the other guys. There's a lot of clashing heads, a lot of clashing egos, I believe, that's in that party. It's the same with the other parties. It's not like the other parties are better. It's just the fact that these guys are too small and too much of a fledgling party to have this much squabbling. You know, you can afford to have squabbling amongst the Conservatives or Labour, because you've got so many members of Parliament. You're such a well-established, long-enduring party that you can afford the you know, the backstabbings of Liz Truss and implanting of Rishi Sunak and all of this nonsense and still survive. Whilst you really can't afford all that stuff right now with reform. Reform has to show a unified front amongst its 5 members. For crying out loud, you can't keep 5 members of parliament in check and agreeing just to get yourselves to the next election. Holy crap, how big are these goddamn egos? So yeah, I mean, when you've got that kind of a thing going on, I don't see it. I think at best next election cycle reform will increase maybe their member of parliament by like 2 or 3. I swear, I don't even think they'll make 10. Then, you know, a lot of people are talking about UKIP. I was on a stream, not a stream, but you know, X Spaces, these Twitter Spaces things, last night with some British sort of patriots and stuff, Tommy supporters, and they're all like, oh yeah, you know, we're all going to UKIP now. UKIP's the next. Like, dude, UKIP's been around for 9 years. They haven't managed to get 1 member of parliament in that time. They got some MEPs, and believe it or not, that was mostly because of Nigel Farage. But they couldn't get 1 member of parliament in 9 years, and 9 or 10 years these guys have been running. You can't. No, UKIP isn't going to do it. Unfortunately, UKIP is too close to Tommy Robinson as well. Gerard Batten, unfortunately, he made a gamble. He threw his hat with Tommy, brought Tommy into the fold to try to get his supporters, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. The gamble failed. Tommy's supporters, although numerous, they are not election-winning numbers. They don't have that. They're not, in large enough constituents to be able to win you elections. They're just spread across the UK, and so when you take, I don't know, 200,000-300,000 followers, maybe even 1 million followers in a country of 70 million people, 1 million followers doesn't, even if those 1 million followers, like people are talking about, oh, Tommy's got millions of followers on X or I don't know, Rumble or whatever. Those are, first of all, they're across the world. They're not just in this country. They're not going to be and also, even if that 1 million was all in this country, it still wouldn't be enough to win elections. You're looking at tens of millions of people having to vote for you to win elections in this country, not 1 or 2 million, and spread across the entire United Kingdom. You know, it's not an election-winning numbers. Tommy just doesn't have election-winning numbers. He ran for MEP himself. He got nothing. He barely was a blip on the radar. He got nowhere. He can't. These Tommy Robinson followers are delusional when they think that they can win elections. They can't. Britain is not that on the Tommy side of things. The British, even the working class, if not certainly the middle class, are nowhere near on the side of Tommy Robinson. You gotta certain, it's hard truths. You just have to sometimes just swallow those hard truths and recognize, no matter what you think of Tommy Robinson, and I don't particularly, think of him as, he's not some evil Hitler types. I think he's actually, a lot of his points are fairly reasonable. Maybe he's a bit biased in his attitude towards Islam. I'm biased towards Islam. I would prefer if that religion never existed in the entire history of mankind, but that's neither here or there. The British people don't want, they don't want to be associated with the Tommy Robinson movement. Not in certainly millions, in election-winning numbers. They are still the Scots, because you got to realize you got to win this. You got to win some Scottish seats. You got to win some Welsh seats. You got to win some English seats, and then you got the North and the South divide, etc., etc. London, all the different boroughs of London. Tommy Robinson doesn't have that kind of following. You think Tommy Robinson has that kind of following in London? He doesn't. It's the rural northerners and other people who actually prefer Tommy. So putting your eggs in a Tommy Robinson basket to win elections, you're screwed. You're in the shit. why not just focus on Kemi and hope for the best? The thing is, Biz, we have a uni-party system. The Conservatives are going to do more or less what the Labour does, but maybe at a slightly slower pace. So the only thing you're doing with the Conservatives is you're taking a sprint to a walk towards the same aim, towards the same goal. So you're not changing anything. The net zero thing wasn't just in the hands of the Labour, it was also in the hands of Conservatives. Labour just is just gonna, Labour is just, the Conservatives on steroids. That's the problem in this country. You don't actually have a choice. It's a uni-party system. We have the same people doing the same thing for 14 years. Conservatives never reduced immigration. It only went up under their patronage, or under their watch, and it's just accelerated on the Labour. So it's like you either get bad or worse. I mean, as South Park put it, you either get a douchebag, a big giant douche, or a turd sandwich. There isn't an actual better option. People really, you see, what upsets me is that people were genuinely relying on some party like Reform. I feel, for the working class of this country, those genuine white Anglo-Saxon English, Welsh and Scots who desperately need someone who's on their side, who desperately need someone who's genuinely batting or fighting in their corner, and they just don't get one. They went all out and they all joined Reform and they paid their memberships, they paid their hard-earned money that they most of the time can't afford, believe it or not. But yet they just please, they're on their knees right now begging anyone to fight their corner, to at least have their back. They just want someone to fight their corner. It's like the political class of Britain are on a suicide mission to destroy Britain. I was saying in the spaces yesterday, I feel like as a immigrant, ex-Muslim who despises the religion, when it comes to the Islamic issue, I feel like I'm sitting in the passenger seat of a man who's determined to drive his car off a cliff, and I can't get him to hit the brakes. And I'm sitting next to him going, dude, you're taking both of us with you. Stop. It just seems like the British political class are on a suicide, hell-bent on a suicide mission to destroy their entire enterprise, their entire race, culture. It's unfathomable to me that you can be so liberal, you can be so leftist and so quote-unquote altruistic that you are overriding your survival and reproduction instincts. The thing that not even even animals, even lions and tigers would would uphold. Friggin' sharks have the better survival instincts right now than Brits. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's like Lemmings. It's like the game. I know you guys ever played the game Lemmings, where you gotta stop these little things from practically committing suicide. They just keep on walking unless you guide them towards the door.
In 200 yards,
they're just gonna kill themselves.
Left to stay on Blackwall Tunnel Southern Approach, A102.
Shut up. So yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unfathomable to me that it seems not just the British, but the Europeans, the Germans, the French, the Swiss.
Left to stay on Blackwall Tunnel Southern Approach.
Shut up. Ah, shit. Okay. Guys, I'm gonna end this whole thing is getting a little bit insane. The traffic is kind of moving now, and besides, I'm gonna end up going through a tunnel and probably lose the signal anyway. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that you can be so comfortable.
Continue on A102 for 1 mile.
Shut up, for the love of God. Oh shit. Oh Christ. Everything's starting now. I can't stop it. I can't stop it. The radio's everything's kicked in. Anyway, guys, that's my rant for today. 15 minutes is a good amount of time. Yeah, reform, unfortunately, it doesn't look like. My predictions, I mean, let's see what happens. In 4 years' time, I guarantee you, reform will barely be a memory in history. It'll barely be a footnote in the political history of this country. I don't think reform are it. It's too many egos. Nigel Farage is far too narcissistic to really deal with in any democratic sense. And already, I mean, people like Elon Musk have already pulled away from him. I'm not entirely sure even Trump is fully on board with this man. Whoa. Sorry. All right, guys.